For more on COVID's impact on the Olympics, let's go to our very own K-Mo in Tokyo. Hello, Kenneth Moten. He's finally been let out of quarantine today. K-Mo joins us now for more on this. Kenneth, we're going to talk about your newfound freedom in a second, but I want to talk about these opening ceremonies because they're just 4 days away, and at least 3 people staying in the Olympic Village have now tested positive for COVID. So what happens if more test positive? Do any protocols change?
Well, right now, Diane, we believe the International Olympic Committee and Japanese officials will do what they've been doing when there's a positive case, and that's isolate, quarantine, identify others that person came in contact with. But we know when it comes to these athletes, we don't know if the IOC is prepared for a major outbreak. They say that they are, but when it comes to the protocols, we don't know what exactly we put into place if a major outbreak happens. We know it's a massive undertaking when you have 11,000 athletes throughout this country over the next 2 weeks, but again, a massive undertaking for the IOC.
And what if in a week or two from now an athlete tests positive after they've already competed in the games? Could that affect future teams and athletes that are left to compete?
Well, we know that 48 hours after an athlete competes here at the Tokyo Olympics, they have to leave the country. And so they're hoping that they can keep this under control. We've seen dozens of positive cases since July 1st. And again, that number seems small when you've got about 60 positive cases connected to these games. You've got 11,000 athletes, tens of thousands of people connected to these games who will be here. But at this point, they're hoping that they can stem any potential outbreak and hope that those numbers do not surge. But at this point, again, they're hoping that the protocols they have in place will keep those numbers from rising even higher.
And Kenneth, I guess I need to switch to K-Mo now. I wasn't hip to the new nickname. I feel so out of it. I love it. That sounds like a you and Diane thing. It's fantastic. All right, on a serious note, a U.S. gymnast tested positive has been moved to separate lodging now, the accommodations, and a separate training facility also with someone else in close contact with her. So in today's White House press briefing, Jen Psaki, as you know, said the White House wishes a speedy recovery to COVID-positive athletes, but that First Lady Jill Biden is still set to travel to Tokyo. So what can we expect from her visit and also just the quarantine process in these cases?
Well, we know Dr. Jill Biden will be an ambassador for the U.S. at these Tokyo Olympic Games. Not an ambassador like we know a U.S. ambassador to be throughout the countries across this globe, but more of a ceremonial ambassador as she comes to Tokyo. We think that she will attend some games. We know that she'll be at the opening ceremonies. We also know we're not getting that many details about her schedule, but we do know that to and from Tokyo, she'll make some pit stops, one in Anchorage, Alaska on the way to Tokyo, and then in Honolulu, Hawaii on the way back. We don't, again, know her schedule, but we wouldn't be surprised if this military mom and wife of the commander-in-chief actually visits some military members.
And Kenneth, as I said at the top, you've finally been let out of quarantine yourself, but I know they're still keeping limits on you. There are only so many shenanigans you can get into right now. Talk us through it.
All right, so when I landed, we had to go into a brief quarantine here at the hotel. And then we move into a 14-day media bubble where we can jump in a private transport. We got to stay in the vehicle in a lot of the places. We can't go to public spaces. We can't ride buses, get into taxis, ride the train, nothing like that. But what we can do is ride in that private transport with an escort. We're being tracked by the Japanese government. I was able to speak with some Japanese people, and what we found here in this city, in this capital city, is it was really tough to find someone who wants these games. They're extremely unpopular. We didn't feel that Olympic spirit as we moved around Tokyo. But I will say in a lot of the main places, the shopping districts that we passed by, very vibrant city. I can't wait to get out there, Diane and Carol. I'm like, let me out, let me out. There's food to taste. There's things to see. There's technology in this city is just incredible. And so I can't wait to get out of there. 14 days, guys. Countdown is on.
Look out. KMO is in Tokyo. I can just see it. I can see the story of what could happen next. Well, here we go. According to GLAAD, a record number of more than 142 LGBTQ athletes from around the world are competing in Tokyo. And this year's Olympic Games will also make history with the first out trans athletes to compete. This is such a significant time, Kenneth, for LGBTQ athletes, out and proud.
Kira, more LGBTQ athletes than all the previous Olympic Games combined. Can you believe that? The U.S. is leading the pack with stars like Megan Rapinoe. Also, I want to get these numbers right, and I want you to hear this because they're just incredible when I read them earlier, that LGBTQ athletes will compete in 26 sports and at least 25 countries will have at least one LGBTQ Olympian. And listen to what swimmer Marcus Thormeyer of Canada told Outsports. He was not out during the Rio Olympics, but he's out now, and he said, quote, being able to compete with the best in the world as my most authentic self at the biggest international multi-sport game shows how far we've come on inclusion in sports. And he added, I'm hoping that by competing at these games, I can show the LGBTQ community that we do belong and we can achieve anything we put our minds to. Representation matters. Visibility matters, guys.
Agree to that 100%. KMO, so great to see you. I know it's 4 a.m. I hope you get some sleep, and we will see you a lot in the coming days.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kenneth.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.